What's up, everyone? It's Collected Off Grid. Thanks for tuning in to the Travel Teleporter series. Hey, if you like the channel, please subscribe and like. I really appreciate it. This episode is episode number 6 on Japan. It's going to be in 2 parts. Part 1, Tokyo and Hakone, and part 2 will be Kyoto and the south, and back up to Tokyo at the end. I stayed at the Ritz-Carlton. I love it because it's in Roppongi, which is a great area to see the city. You normally arrive late. The flights arrive kind of in the late afternoon, so I suggest not to go to bed right away, but you're going to be really tired because it's the middle of the night in the United States. But in order to adjust, I suggest you should stay up and as long as you can. So the Mori Museum is great. It's an observation tower. You get great sunset views of the city that time, and there are different exhibits that are displayed there. This happened to be one on technology and Indian art. So this exhibit's really cool. It's a magnetic, like, superconductor where these steel balls are floating around. And this is how they're going to travel in the future in these high-speed tubes or trains, I believe. Anyway, after the Mori Museum, you're really tired, but you got to pursue it. Get a Red Bull or a coffee, maybe go back to the hotel and change. And we walked over to one of my favorite restaurants called Robataya. Really fun. All kinds of food, cooked food, sushi, great fun. Really had a great time. So after that, back to the hotel and then go to sleep, and hopefully you can sleep through the night. So the next morning is a big day. Nothing's really open, but you'll be up early. So I suggest the Meiji Jingu Shrine, which is kind of like a central park with a beautiful shrine and a lot of other kind of attractions to see. We were lucky to see a wedding starting there as we left. Those are sake kegs. They also have like other types of barrels and things there. So right across the street from the Meiji Jingu is Takeshita Street, and this is in Harajuku. This is where the Harajuku girls were kind of born. They're passé now, but that was when these young girls were dressed with purple hair and bright clothes, and they're kind of like the rockers and the punkers of our culture. A great snack and places to hang out. It's also an art gallery. It's Do Ex Machina. It's in Harajuku. You can have like an avocado toast or just a pastry there. It's really nice. Also in this general area is Omotesando Street, which is like the Fifth Avenue or Rodeo Drive of Tokyo, where all the brands have their flagship stores and they kind of try to outdo each other with the architecture. You can go shopping. There's a lot of cool stores there, but the architecture alone is pretty cool. So after that, it's off to Shibuya, where you have the famous Shibuya crossing. We did a quick lunch in a really cool high-rise building, and then took some shots of the crossing. I don't know exactly, but I think they say like 1 million people. The department stores in this area are truly amazing. They have everything you can possibly imagine. They go like 10, 20 stories high. Every floor packed with merchandise. I don't know how they consume it all, frankly. But you can see what value they put on like fruit that we probably don't even appreciate. $100 melons and $50 boxes of strawberry, etc. Pretty cool cultural visuals. After that, there's this cool little artsy area called Daikanyama, one of my favorite bookstores, Tsutaya bookstore. They have vinyl records and cool cafe there and lots of little shops around here. So you're pretty far away from the hotel at this point. I suggest actually ditching the car and taking a train back. So the next morning you wake up really early. This is actually historic because the Tsukiji Fish Market is now permanently closed just before COVID. It's now moved outside of Tokyo. I've not been there yet, but this was fun. I'm sure it's not going to be like this. This was a thing of the past. Um, we actually got to go in early. Most tourists couldn't go in here before 10, as we went with our chef, who we picked out food, and he was buying for his restaurant, so we went in with him as buyers, so to speak. And then we went back to his sushi establishment later that evening and had a great meal. So this was a really fun experience. Again, I'm not sure if those are all the hotels that some of these establishments service. Again, I don't know if the experience is going to be the same or how far it is or if it's worth it, but this was truly fun. They also had a tuna auction that you had to do a lottery for at like 4 in the morning, which I don't think that works. I've done it before. But this is really cool. It doesn't smell or it's not dirty. Japanese culture is very precise and really into cleanliness and protocol and politeness. And so hence the trains and escalators and restaurants and stores all have protocol. Like every gift will be wrapped for you regardless if you ask or not, for every purchase. Asakusa Temple is a kind of touristy place, but if you've never been, it's probably worth 30 minutes. And then we went to a tea ceremony. Pretty fun. So, the Akihabara Electronic City. You can get anything here, electronic or gadgety. Video games, cameras, video cameras, gadgets. This is a pachinko hall, kind of like gambling. This is like a video game silo where you can battle your friends in these pods. We also have, there's a lot of cat cafes. I'm sure you've heard of it. This one happened to be in Akihabara. I'm not so sure this is PC, but the cats are well loved and really well taken care of, and it's really clean, and I guess it's okay. Anyway, it's interesting. Pretty cool. So after this, it's back to the hotel. Again, you want to kind of do Tokyo in sections. It's like New York or LA, where you don't want to be going to Santa Monica and then downtown and then back to Hollywood all in the same day. So you want to pick the days to do the things, and they're all together in a certain area. So later the evening, you go to Shinjuku. This is the famous robot restaurant. It's really a show. This lady's on roller skates with a keg filling my beer. It's pretty cheesy, quintessential Japan, but it's hilarious because it's so cheesy. Here's some shots from inside. It's a little risque. It's not sexual. It's just very just light, lasers, sensory overload, music, DJs. It's a lot going on. You probably don't catch everything the first time. I've only been once, and that was enough, frankly. I actually found out about it through a party I crashed at the hotel, and I was speaking to the hairdresser of a prominent person, and the hairdresser told me that this was her favorite place. So I was like, oh really? So that's why I ended up checking it out, because it always looked kind of cheesy to me. Really fun. After that, we did actually go out to dinner to Jiro, Sushi by Jiro. This is the son of the famous Jiro. It's a little bit more relaxed here, fun. He'll take pictures with you. You can joke around. It's not so serious and timed as the father's, so I prefer it. After that, we went out drinking in Golden Guy, which is like hundreds of tiny bars, maybe 3 seats, 5 seat bars, packed in like a mile square area, and really just unique and fun. Then we went to this kind of yakitori, which is a chicken place, after we ate at like, midnight. And then these are some Mario Karts that you can rent and drive in costumes around. Then you can, believe it or not, after that, it's after hours. This is a Club Lega. I believe it's in Roppongi. It's like a go-go throwback, go-go dancing place. Again, it's no nudity. It's really fun. DJs dancing. There's like a huge aquarium in there. It's pretty cool. These are all just people we met that night and were hanging out with. It's pretty fun. So then, kind of back to the hotel, we're going to get ready to head south to Kyoto, but on the way we're going to stop in a town called Hakone, which is kind of near Mount Fuji on the way to Kyoto, which is a very traditional town, completely opposite of Tokyo. With all these demonstrations and things you can do, like see a sumo match or sumo training or samurai. So Tokyo, one of my favorite cities, probably my favorite city in the world right now. These are views from the Ritz club floor. Just amazing. Really fun. I just showed you a scratch of what you can do. Really, really love Tokyo. So the trains in Japan are really efficient. Always on time, super clean, and just fast. It's the bullet train. You can take a train or a car to Hakone. It's cheaper to take a train, but you have to change because the bullet train doesn't go here. So driving would be more efficient, but more expensive. The Gorakudan is a kind of in between a traditional inn or ryokan and a larger hotel. They still have tatami rooms where you sleep on futons on the floor and have a traditional like omakase dinner where you order your menu in advance before you arrive. These are public baths. There's a whole protocol that you have to before you go in there to wash yourself. They give you like directions to Westerners. One of the main attractions in Hakone is the Hakone Open Air Museum, which they also have a small Picasso gallery in the middle with paintings. Really fun. The first time I went here, I was very surprised. Just a lot of pieces, very eclectic, just really fun. There's a maze, a hedge maze, like kind of in Europe. Picasso Museum, stained glass, modern art, sculptures. It's just a pretty cool place. You can also take a cable car up to Mount Fuji. I don't think it's worth the time. I'd rather maybe rent a electric bike and drive through the quaint little town there with your guide. That would be really fun. So this is gonna end part 1, Tokyo and Hakone. Stay tuned. I have Kyoto ready to go. I just didn't want to make the video too long for all of your guys' immense attention span. So thanks a lot for tuning in to Off-Grid Ojai. Hope you enjoyed part 1 of Japan, Tokyo, and looking forward to showing you part 2. Take care.